Anthony
conference will
will be
now
the
be
moderator
recorded.
for the candidate forum. Beside me here is Mary Ann Thiken to assist me with the questions for our candidate forum. Before we begin, a unit owner may record an audio tape or any other means of sound reproduction. Before the recording of the meeting, the unit owner must provide their intent to record the meeting to us. Are there any owners who will be recording the meeting? Anyone else? Thank you, Nona. This year we have 7 candidates with 3 positions.
Only 4? With 4 positions.
This year we have 7 candidates for 3 positions. Only four candidates are here on the podium. Chris Campbell, Donna Griffith, and Michelle Sharples are not available today. Because they are not here, they are permitted to have representatives read their opening statements. Alexa Lewis will read Chris Campbell's opening statement. Patty Verdusco will read Donna Griffith's opening statement. And Carol Mirenhoff will read Michelle Sharple's opening statement. The representatives will not be allowed to participate in the question and answer period, but will be able to be at the meet and greet. Ballot questions were chosen at random by each candidate at the orientation meeting. The format today will begin with opening statements by each candidate in ballot order. For their opening statements, each candidate will have 90 seconds. After opening statements, we will then rotate down the ballot for rounds of question and answers. On February 10th, 2026, the candidate orientation was held, and 2 common questions were given to all the candidates. Every candidate at the table will be asked the same 2 general questions. Each candidate will be given 90 seconds for their answers to those general questions. All candidates were told in advance they would be asked the same question. Next, the candidates will be asked a series of questions submitted by the residents. We are limiting the response time to 60 seconds. The residents' questions were screened for duplication, inappropriate language, relevance to most residents, and length. The questions that are too long will have the lowest priority. Unused random questions will be available for review after the forum. The final question is the rebuttal question. For the rebuttal question, the candidate can choose to answer any question they would like to address that may have been asked of any other candidate. Alternatively, the candidate could choose to rebut a response from another candidate. For the rebuttal question, each candidate will have 60 seconds for their answer. Finally, each candidate will have 60 seconds for their closing statements. We aim to finish around 3:30 for the closing statements. After closing statements, we will have a meet and greet in the Morris Nelson room down the hall. There are sandwiches, cookies, and beverages for you during the meet and greet. During the forum, the audience is asked to remain silent. There will be no cheers, no boos, or other interruptions, so we all can focus on the candidates, what they have to say. I would also like to ask to please silence your cell phones. So let's start with the opening statements. Chris Campbell is number 1 on the ballot. Alexis Lewis will read opening statements for Chris. You have 90 seconds.
Hello, my name is Alexis Lewis, and I will be providing an opening statement for my dad, Chris Campbell, as he is returning home from vacation today. For more than 25 years, my dad has dedicated his career to public service. He believes Sun City Anthem deserves steady, practical leadership, not drama, not bureaucracy, but real experience and responsible decision-making. Homeowners deserve respect, clear communication, and responsible governance. If you believe in less bureaucracy and more common sense leadership, then you and my dad are on the same page. His priorities include making the restaurant, Masterpiece Cuisine, a sustainable, thriving business, improving technology with the website, and introducing a user-friendly, accessible app for phones. Lastly, he believes reasonable guidelines are necessary when it comes to our clubs. However, excessive oversight and control can discourage participation and limit growth. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Alexis. Forrest Quinn is number 2 on the ballot. Please give us your opening statement. You have 90 seconds for us.
My name is Forrest Quinn, and I'm running for the board because I believe SCA deserves steady, transparent, and financially responsible leadership. In a community of our size, small decisions are never small. A poorly explained policy can divide neighbors, and the lack of transparencies can erode trust. I'm running to focus on two things. First, financial discipline. Our assessments should be predictable, justified, and clearly explained. Budgets should be easy to understand. Reserve funding must be protected, and every major financial decision should answer one simple question: does it improve our community and our property values? Second, protecting our lifestyle. We all chose Sun City Anthem for its amenities, safety, stability, and sense of pride. My goal is to maintain what works, fix what doesn't, and avoid unnecessary risks that could impact the property values or quality of life. A board member's job is not to control the community, it's to serve it. If elected, I will ask the hard questions, insist on clear answers, and always remember that this is your money and your home. I respectfully ask for your vote in keeping our community strong, financially sound, and united. Thank you.
Thank you, Forrest. Nona Tobin is number 3 on the ballot. Please give us your opening statement. Nona, you have 90 seconds.
Every decision this board makes spends your money. And right now, management won't let you see where all of it goes. My name is Nona Tobin, and I believe owners should always come first. That's not a slogan, it's the law. Nevada statute requires this board to serve the owners, not staff, not vendors, not attorneys. Yet for years, management has operated with an unlawful level of authority, while owners have been pushed to the back of the line. I'm running to change that permanently. My plan rests on 3 commitments: transparency, accountability, and owner empowerment through technological changes, modern technology. I want every board decision, every vote, and every dollar spent to be documented and searchable by every resident. No more hidden records, no more conflicting stories. As the retired Director of Human Resources for the City of San Jose, managing an 8,000 employee system, and as the executive who chaired a massive enterprise software implementation, I have a proven track record of using technology to streamline large bureaucracies. I'm not running for power. I'm running to build systems that make power transparent.
Thank you, Nona. Donna Griffith is number 4 on the ballot. Patty Verduzco will read the opening statement for Donna. You have 90 seconds.
Hi, I'm Donna Griffith. I currently serve as Vice President of your Board of Directors, and I'm seeking re-election with your help. I would like to thank Patty Verduzco for speaking on my behalf today while I recover from surgery. I look forward to returning soon. I've lived in Sun City Anthem, Pinnacle Village, for 23 years. I served on the Architectural Review Committee as a member and chair for 7 years. I was elected to the Board of Directors by our membership in 2024. I served as secretary, and soon after I was elected to the presidency. Our board was left with 2 huge challenges: the failing restaurant that was losing up to $500,000 annually, and the vacancy of our COO. I immediately went to work. I formed a restaurant committee with extensive experience in the restaurant and catering business. With board approval, we created a venue for residents to gather and socialize, but there is still work to do with our new restaurant operator. I led the hiring of our new general manager. My persistence and attention to detail ensured the selection of a qualified leader who has moved SCA forward. My record shows I listen, act, and deliver positive outcomes. I want to complete several projects next year. I promise to continue to listen to your voices and make the best decisions for our beautiful community.
Thank you, Patty. Michelle Sharples is number 5 on the ballot. Carol Mernhoff will read the opening statement for Michelle. You have 90 seconds.
From Michelle. Hi, everyone. I'm at a family celebration this weekend. I am running for re-election to ensure completion of a strategic plan that SCA desperately needs. an appropriate plan that captures the intentional long-term planning so SCA can reach its most important goals. I have met many amazing and qualified residents who are key to contributing to this project. I am currently on the FCA Board of Directors and the Audit Committee, and serve as the board representative for the Community Lifestyle Committee. I have completed projects reviewing and revising some governing documents, including the board policy manual and the policy manuals and procedure manuals for committees, clubs, and standing work groups. As with the strategic plan, my work on improving the complaint resolution process continues. It is in review with legal. This year, I have attended educational seminars, including Foundations for Board Excellence, Strategic Planning for HOAs, and a roundtable related to Nevada HOA legislation. I have no alternate agenda other than what is best for you and our community. Please pick up a package at my meet and greet table, which includes my contact information, a bit about myself, and my response to the 2 common questions being asked of all candidates. Thank you for attending today.
Thank you, Carol. Brian Donahue is number 6 on the ballot. Please give us your opening statement. You have 90 seconds.
All right. Okay, I was on the board with Forrest and with Barry during COVID, so I was there for 1 year, so people got to know me. I was on the stage every month. I was Zoomed. I voted. I usually vote very conservative. I'm trying to keep the assessment down as low as possible. I'm trying not to increase it. And so I have a record of my votes. Everything is on, online in the minutes and also in the agenda. And that's probably my primary objective is to keep the houses are worth more if you have a reasonable assessment. If it keeps going up, it's going to make it harder and harder for people with limited incomes. Now, the other thing too, you want to keep the place pretty, and I'm working, well, anyway, Larry's doing a really good job. He gets a good bang for the buck on landscaping, more so. I check it pretty regularly. He does a really good job. So we want to keep the place looking nice, and we want to keep it inexpensive. Now, as far as the restaurant is concerned, I think we would work if we had a McDonald Ranch model, the same model they have. I think it would work then. Right now, I think we spent about $1 or $2 million trying to refurbish it, and I think we're losing. Now, I'm not on the board right now. I think it's $50,000, maybe a month. So I'd like to get to that point where it wasn't costing us anything. Okay, I'm very conservative when it comes to voting, and pretty much you can tell just from how I voted in the past. In the restaurant, I think they should and they should have done this when they did a remodel, is keep it 1 floor, because they have that pit in the front of the restaurant. Oh,
Brian,
out of time?
could you wrap it up, please?
What's that?
Wrap it up.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I'm out of time, so that's that, and I'll pass it on to Barry. Go ahead, Barry.
Thank you, Brian. Barry Rubinson is number 7 on the ballot. Please give us your opening statements. You have 90 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that's a little different. Sun City Anthem is one of the most exceptional HOAs in the country. We're ranked that way. My goal is to keep it modern, financially strong, in a place where home values continue to grow and keep our dues low. I've lived here for 20 years and I'm running because the community deserved experience and common sense leadership. I've helped modernize our theater. This was my project. I've helped improve our computer systems. I've helped get good patrol vehicles for our community patrol. And I've done much, much more, always working collaboratively with volunteers and staff. I'm a hands-on problem solver. Looking ahead, I want to refresh aging facilities, enhance our common areas, improve the restaurant and bar, possibly raising the floor of what I call the pit, all right? And add amenities that appeal to the next generation of buyers, which helps improve our home values. And I want to do this by keeping dues under control with a clear strategic plan disciplined spending, and smart use of our reserves. As a Mr. Fix-It, I want to listen to your thoughts and take action wherever I can. I'd appreciate your vote. I'm Barry Rubinson, ballot position 7.
Thank you, Barry. Before we begin with the common questions, I would like the representatives, they can leave the stage if they'd like.
They're not allowed to be in the question and answers.
Okay, round two is, we'll start with the common questions. The first common question: what do you believe are the most important capital projects for the next 3 years? We're going to start with Forrest. You have 90 seconds.
My answer excludes what's already in the reserve study, and there's extensive spending going on there, but I'll start here. SCA is over 25 years old, and our focus must be on long-term competitiveness. If we stop modernizing, we will fall behind in the 55-plus market. Over the next 3 years, we should prioritize projects that do 3 things: improve resident experience, increase social participation, and protect long-term property values. First, I think we should install outdoor bathrooms next to the Liberty Center sports courts. Liberty Center has 25 sports courts, and the nearest restroom is about a 500-foot walk away. Adding outdoor facilities will enhance one of our most heavily used amenities clusters and deliver an immediate impact. Second, masterpiece or MC restaurant noise mitigation. The restaurant is one of our key hubs. However, the hard surfaces create excessive noise, making conversation difficult. When residents can't comfortably converse, their experience suffers and they don't return. I think we should explore extending the Independent Center stage. That's the stage here, adding some feet in front. There was some talk a few years back that we could get much better acts or much more variety of acts if we had a bigger stage. Fourth, explore expanding wood chips. That's our wood shop over here. Wood chips has already raised about $100,000 for this project. That level of member commitment warrants a thoughtful evaluation.
I'm going to say thank you, Forrest.
Oh,
to you.
well, thank you. But my last line was so good.
Oh, okay, thank you, Forrest. Nona, you have the same questions. You have 90 seconds.
We don't need more storage or offices for staff. We need to give owners back the facilities we've already paid for. The most important capital investment Sun City Anthem can make in the next 3 years is technological infrastructure, not more concrete. Specifically, first, a searchable database of all HOA records. Every board packet, every vote, every financial report accessible to any owner or resident anytime. This eliminates the information asymmetry that lets mismanagement go unchecked. Second, a secure resident phone app and web app for financial transactions, room reservations, access passes, and real-time communication. We should not be spending money on outdated compliance software like Global North Star has already failed. Third, and equally important, what we should not be spending capital funds on is building staff offices, expanding storages for management, or bumping residents, clubs, or volunteer groups like the Performing Arts Clubs, group exercise classes, SCA TV, and the Foundation Assisting Seniors from our jointly owned facilities, replacing them with staff. Capital funds belong to the owners. Every dollar must deliver a direct, measurable benefit to residents, not to staff convenience.
Thank you, Nona. Brian, same question. You have 90 seconds.
I'll give my presentation. No questions for her.
So you don't want to answer the common question? Do you want to answer the common question?
Yeah, I'll answer my question.
Okay, it was, do you remember it's the question about the long-term, the capital projects?
Right.
Okay,
Capital expenditures.
correct.
A lot of these projects that we have are extremely expensive. If we want to keep the assessment down, you've got to keep really cost-effective project. If they're looking at the main project I would do, I'd probably do something inexpensive like level the dining room floor. I think that would be enough, for this year. For me, and I've been in the buildings and all of different projects and talked about the different things on the board. And they want one project, and that was the project that I recommend.
Thank you, Brian. Barry, same question. You have 90 seconds.
Yeah, there were two things. I'm going to directly answer them. First, the restaurant. After 25 years, our experience gives us a clear lesson. The question is not whether we want another restaurant, we've had a lot. It's whether we want a true gathering place. One that supports food, sports, viewing, entertainment, conversation, with a vibrant bar that actually takes advantage of our view. What we have today struggles with a small bar, a noisy seating area, poor sound, and stairs that work against accessibility. Those limitations are a reason that this topic has been controversial. If we're going to invest, we should invest with a clear purpose first and then design to support that purpose. Second item, a 5-year refresh and modernization of the ballroom and Anthem Center itself. These spaces are heavily used, but they look tired. The ballroom's colors, lighting, and stage technology are dated. The entrance hall signals another era, and the conference rooms feel cheap and inconsistent. I've brought in my designer who helped us redo this area electronically, and he's a sound expert, and I put him into the theater first here. He looked at the ballroom and he looked at the restaurant, and at the restaurant he said, it is one of the worst sound environments I've ever seen, and here's how you fix it.
Barry?
They didn't.
Barry, thank you. Before we begin, you're recording video? Not, are you recording video? It's only audio you may record. Okay? Thank you. So we'll go on to the second common question, which is, what are the most important issues facing the association short-term and in the long term? Nona, we'll start with you. You have 90 seconds.
What's the question?
Starting with me.
Yeah, starting with you, Nona. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Right now, staff in this community have more power than the people who pay their salaries. Short term, the most pressing issue is management overreach and lack of accountability. Staff and management are operating with an unlawful level of authority, creating unnecessary bureaucracy, creating friction for our clubs, and making decisions that should be made by the board on behalf of owners. The board needs to reassert its statutory authority. Facility priority must always be owners first, board second, and staff last. Long term, the most important issue is modernizing how we govern ourselves. Sun City Anthem is stuck in a 20th century operating model. We need AI-powered tools that give owners real-time visibility into governance, virtual board meeting watch parties with online polling, transparent voting records, and a grievance process that actually works instead of pushing residents towards litigation. We also need to stop subsidizing failing business models, like the restaurant operations, and redirect those resources towards technology that empowers every owner to participate meaningfully in self-governance.
Thank you, Nona. Brian, same question. You have 90 seconds.
There you go. Is that better?
Yeah.
One big issue is I talked to Larry, and he says that we have 2,000 holes in our association because of all the dead plants that had died over the time and a lot of missing lights. So I'd like to see the plants put in. I'd like to see the irrigation system hooked up so those things can grow. And then the other thing too, which I mentioned already, is I think we should try to keep the assessment down or not increase it if we possibly can. Those are my two issues. Barry?
Thank you, Brian. Barry,
Thank
same
you, Brian.
question, 90 seconds.
Okay. First, what are our two most important priorities? One, simplify our rules. Yeah, we are constrained by the IRS, Nevada law, and our own CC&Rs, which are almost impossible to change. But within those boundaries, many of our rules function as unnecessary straitjackets. Rules that are rarely read or remembered don't protect our culture. They weaken it. We should commit to reviewing our rules every year for relevancy, necessity, and flexibility. Fewer, clearer rules are more likely to be understood and respected. Second, a living 5-year strategic plan. Not a document that gets filed away, but a roadmap that is acted on, refreshed annually, and used by future boards. This plan must address more than capital, governance, and finances. It should differentiate culture from amenities. And just as importantly, we must decide what kind of culture we want here. Culture defines us more than any amenity list will ever. Acknowledge our competition also. That's based on our house values. All right. Exploit our advantages as a stable, well-managed, financially sound community. If we do this well, we stop reacting year to year and start steering deliberately. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. We will now go into round 3, which is the audience questions.
No, I think you skipped me on that round.
Oh,
Which is
Forrest,
perfectly
Forrest,
fine.
I apologize, Forrest. You're next, sorry.
Okay. My short-term priority, this is 90 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh dear. Short-term priorities, I would like to strengthen our website as a marketing and communications tool. In today's market, the website is not just informational, it directly supports property values. SCA's website should serve two audiences. First, the current residents, but what's missing right now is prospective buyers. We need a dedicated Why Sun City Anthem section, 10 reasons SCA is exceptional, clear amenity highlights, lifestyle-focused messaging, and evidence of financial stability. By April, we need to reach a new MC restaurant agreement, which expires in April. The restaurant is both a lifestyle amenity and social anchor. Residents expect the restaurant to enhance community life, not create financial or quality of life concerns. Payroll is, this is more long-term, payroll is SCA's highest expense. We need to implement managerial accounting to understand our staffing levels and payroll structures. By using key performance indicators, we can measure labor output and access efficiency. What gets measured gets improved. If we aren't measuring it, you're not managing it. We also need to decide if we need additional office space for staff, which is a contentious issue. We need a complete asset inventory and develop our in-house reserve study capability. And finally, we need to understand the demographics of our association better. Thank you.
Thank you, Forrest. Now we will go into round 3, which is the residents' questions. The candidates will have 60 seconds to answer the questions. We will start with Brian. Brian, your question is, what is your understanding of a board member's fiduciary duty?
Well, people are responsible for other people's money. Like they had a detective to check out all the candidates because you're dealing with so much money. We're going through about $1.3 million a month. And then for the year, it's millions and millions of dollars. So everybody's responsible, all these board members, to not waste any money or do anything illegal. And the reason we have a board is that everybody can check and double check, make sure nothing happens that's illegal. And most of the things are all just common sense, because we have these different documents that come out, as board members, and it's just common sense not to, to do anything wrong. And that's usually the same rules apply to homeowners that they apply to board members. The same thing. Yes.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Barry, you have 60 seconds to answer. What qualities do you have that would make a great board member? Let me read that one more time. What qualities do you have that would make you a great board member?
Thank you. I listen to people. I Mr. Fix It, literally. Whenever some club or some group has a problem, they came to me and I went and fixed it if I possibly could. I have a background in economics as well as computer engineering. I go along with what various people have said about improving our technology. I've done my best to try to get new technology into here. And I understand how everything works. I've had 4 years on the board in the past. And I understand what is good and what is bad and how much bureaucracy is there. In my professional life, I was the anti-bureaucrat in the company. One time I got exiled to Colorado from Massachusetts for complaining about something, where I then started a project and made them $4 billion.
Barry.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Barry.
you.
Forrest, you have 60 seconds. Would you be in favor of gaming at Masterpiece Cuisine if it would reduce the cost of the restaurant?
Well, this is a question that comes up frequently. I would be in favor, but I think it's technically impossible for the legal, because we've investigated it so many times that we just can't do it. So that I haven't thought about it since that so much, because we've been told we can't. It's just not possible. So.
Thank you, Forrest. Nona, you have 60 seconds. Your question is, would you be in favor of migrating the Spirit magazine to an electronic rather than a print version? Do we need a monthly magazine in any format?
I think the Spirit magazine is very popular with people, and it is particularly important for people that don't deal with the computers. I am a very, very strong advocate of improving our digital communication and training people on how to use it. And but I don't think that the Spirit should be eliminated. It is very popular. But I think, there's something that people don't realize about the way that the HOA makes money and the percent of how much of the income to the HOA is in non-member type of income. It changes the way Sun City Anthem is taxed. And that has to be studied very closely, because we spend a lot of money on tax that we don't need to.
Thank you, Nona. We're into round 2. Forrest, we'll start with you. You have 60 seconds as a board member, how would you handle being harassed, threatened, or bullied by a homeowner, either in person, email, or social media?
Excuse me, I couldn't quite hear that.
I'll repeat it. I'll slow down as well.
Yeah.
As a board member, how would you handle being harassed, threatened, or bullied by a homeowner, either in person, email, or social media?
Well, unfortunately, our options are 0 to none. We've looked into this. I've been on the board for quite some time, and every attorney we've had has said our responses are quite limited. Only when it rises to the level of physical threats and things like that, you can file a temporary restraining order, but that's temporary. And unfortunately, it's extremely frustrating and one of the worst parts of being a board member.
Thank you, Forrest. Nona, you have 60 seconds. What experience do you have in reviewing financial statements, and how would you make sure residents are kept informed?
I would say that the experience that I have in a business sense is modest compared to all of the CPAs and financial people that are on the board. But I have been training full-time over the past year in learning AI applications for business. And I have a substantial level of expertise now in that area. And I know that there are ways that we could improve tremendously, both in the board understanding and in the residents understanding financial statements by using this technology, which I strongly, strongly recommend the HOA invest in.
Thank you, Nona. Brian, you have 60 seconds. Your question is, what do board committees do, and are they necessary? What do board committees do, and are they necessary? Board committees. Committees.
You have to communicate with the people, so you have to be available so people can, come and talk to you or see you or Zoom on you. So it's important to communicate. Otherwise, it would be secret otherwise. And that's why you have the minutes, and that's why you have the agenda written, and it's all set in law, what has to be done, how the communication is done. So it's important.
Thank you.
All right.
Barry, you have 60 seconds. What are your personal aspirations to perceived conflicts of interest that could be impacted by the board?
Did you say that again?
Yes, I will. What are your personal aspirations or perceived conflicts of interest that could be impacted by the board?
I don't have any conflict of interest. My aspirations are to serve the community and make things better here in terms of the housing values and in terms of the enjoyment of life here. Those are my personal aspirations. Is the only reason I'm running.
Thank you, Barry. We're on the third round, Nona. We're going to start with you. How would you describe your temperament and character when working as part of a group? Do you want me to read it again?
Is it me?
Yes.
Oh. Yes.
Oh, sure. How would you describe your temperament and character when working as part of a group?
Well, I would say that I have a lot of strength in the area of working both individually and in a group. I have been trained as a mediator, and I believe that it's very important for Sun City Anthem to develop its conflict resolution procedures so that people can work amicably and together and live amicably near each other. And, so I have experience in a lot of different professional capacities that give me the expertise to facilitate a group accomplishing the goals that it sets out to accomplish.
Thank you, Nona. Brian. Wait, no, you have another, you get a question. I haven't read the question.
Okay.
Looking at the current board, in your opinion, what are the accomplishments? What are the areas that can be improved? What can you do if you get elected?
Well, I think that the accomplishments is that they were able to run this very big organization and get everything done, and the place is well maintained, and all the legalities of things that have to be done on the board get done. Like the last question, I think my temperament is pretty mellow. Usually, I listen to people, and then later on, if there's a point, I can write an email and give it to the whole board, and then get opinions from different people and get people to agree on stuff if they can. That's it.
Thank you, Brian. Barry. How do you define leadership, and what are your strongest leadership skills? 60 seconds.
That's a good one. Leadership is really several different components. One is you've got to understand where the organization is going, and you have to represent the organization to the rest of the membership in terms of this is what we're about. Secondly, you have to get the people on the board, if we're talking about board leadership, to agree to what direction we're going to move. Thirdly, you've got to make sure that that actually happens. And that is the hardest part. And that's leadership.
Thank you, Barry. Forrest. When faced. What's that word? When faced with the competing recommendations, how do you decide which one you should support?
Well, one of the fiduciary duties of a board member is to make well-informed decisions. You have to look at both sides of the story, do the research, analyze it, check if things are factually true, and then you have to do what you think, and this is a fiduciary duty, you have to do what you think is best for the community.
Thank you, Forrest. We're in our fourth round. We'll start with Barry. Brian, excuse me, my fault. Some residents are concerned about construction projects are taking much longer than planned. How would you respond?
People are concerned about changing laws that are in place at the present time.
No, I'll read it again. Some residents are concerned about construction projects are taking much too longer than planned. How would you respond?
I would communicate what these contracts are open, and they have to get materials in, like the waterfall. And we had it took forever on they haven't finished the paddleball courts yet either. And just try to get it moved as quick as possible. And you have to write tighter contracts, because contractors are notorious for taking advantages of associations, because they're working with a committee, and they have to get these contracts, they have to go back and change things, and it takes longer than it should. But the biggest thing is getting the contracts right in the beginning.
Thank you. Barry. What do most people get wrong about HOA and HOA boards?
Say that again.
What do most people get wrong about HOA and HOA boards?
HOA.
And HOA boards.
Oh, boards. What most people get wrong about it is that they think that the board should be in control of the HOA. We see that in many of the other HOAs. When I say control, I mean control, okay? The board is there to represent the people, not be in charge of them, okay? And that's the biggest mistake that's made. That's why some people run for the board, not any of these, of course, and or me. But the point is that you've got to consider the needs of the people that live here. They've paid for those houses, and they're paying for that HOA. On the other side, the people think the board is someone you should be attacking every day. And that makes it very hard to get people to want to be on the board, especially if they've been on it for one term. Okay? So we have to balance things.
Thank you, Barry. Forrest. Is it better to have a job done perfectly but late, or to have a job done okay but be on time?
Well, I suppose if it's heart surgery, I'd like it done perfectly. Oh, that's a pretty open question. I generally have, if you're talking about construction, I was involved in construction for years, and we did the work to the best of our ability beyond spec. So that's my feeling.
Thank you, Forrest. Nona. Do you have any ideas to increase residents' participation on committees?
I am interested in increasing a resident participation in every way directly, not necessarily on committees. And I think that there's a lot of problem with us having committees or work groups dealing with stuff that the other people don't really know about or hear about. And so I think the most important thing is to have residents be directly able to know what's going on without levels of filtration. And so I would do that by having as a phone app that people can learn about everything and participate in everything. And the technology is there for there to be, like I say, online immediate polling to see where the board should vote on things. They could get that polling.
Thank you, Nona. Our fifth round of questions. Forrest, we'll start with you. What experience or skills do you bring to the HOA board?
For you that don't know, I'm now a retired CPA. I was a CPA for 40 years. I have an MBA in finance from a top 20 MBA school. I built 2 companies from scratch and made them into very successful cash cows. I think I have 7 years of board experience here. I've been on the finance committee. I've been on the audit committee. I was a consultant on major real estate projects in California, including 1 year it was the largest commercial sale in Beverly Hills. But I have a lot of business experience and judgment and way to analyze problems and solve them.
Thank you, Forrest. Nona. Bear with me. When it comes to voting on certain issues, your vote did not get majority support. What would you do?
You mean afterwards?
This is someone submitted this question, so that's.
Okay, so.
Do you want me to read it again?
Yeah.
Sure. When it comes to voting on certain issues and your vote did not get majority support, what would you do?
Well, it kind of depends on what the vote is. Like sometimes they're simple things and they just, they're done. That's the end of it. But sometimes there needs to be additional work. And if the people's opinions in the community have been completely disregarded, then I would probably continue to try and see if there was an alternative way to look at the situation.
Thank you, Nona. Brian, your question is, what have you done to educate yourself on NRS requirements?
What kind of requirements?
NRS.
Well, I've been working with them and they've been coming up at the different meetings, so I'm aware of them. And then again, it's common sense, all those rules. So, but this happens more, and you don't see it necessarily in the board meetings, but you see it in the executive meetings. Executive meetings last a lot longer than the board meetings, and could last the whole day. And that's when all these different things come up, the different rules, and how you apply them, and what's going to happen. So that's it.
Thank you, Brian. Barry. What changes should be made in the way the board operates?
Well, that's a good one. I think right now the board operates in conflict because we've done some things such as change the agenda review process from asking the people who submitted the requests to come and explain them instead of just saying it's going to be on the agenda, okay, fine, and then having to defer any decisions forever until we understand them, and sometimes that never happens. So that is one of the changes I would make. Secondly, I do like what they've done with openness. They've made everything but executive session open, including all of the committee meetings, okay? But I think they've decentralized the committee structure a bit so that the board is now in charge of less of it so that they would save some time. But I think that's maybe needs a little bit more fine tuning.
Thank you, Barry. We can go for one additional round, and we will start with Nona. Is Sun City Anthem headed into the right direction?
To the extent that the board has been moving from governance committees to work groups, I think that is the wrong direction, because the problem here has been too much reliance on management and attorney advice, and the board abdicating its responsibility. I think it's a mistake when board members believe that it is their fiduciary duty to do just what the attorney tells them. That really we have been ill-advised by our attorneys and managers for some years, and we need to reverse that direction.
Thank you, Nona. Brian, how would you balance transparency versus confidentiality? Put your microphone on. Put your microphone on.
Confidentiality, yes. When we have the executive meeting, that's where most of the things happen on the board. Most of the decisions are made. Most of the contracts are done. It's a closed meeting. There's absolutely no information about what happens in there. People aren't allowed to visit. The only time people visit is if there's a violation, then you can come in and talk to the board meetings. So there's really no way for the information to get out. So, but nobody's going to write the notes. It's different. During the board meeting, you've got the agenda, and then you've got how people vote, and you got the minutes, which are public. What happens in the executive, everything is confidential. So it gives people freedom to do different things. And the other thing too is if things get out also, we have, each board member has, I think it's $3 or $5 million liability insurance, if things start to leak out and cause damage to anybody. Hopefully nothing would. That's it.
Thank you, Brian. Barry, how would you deal with a difficult board member with whom you do not agree with?
Well, number one, respectfully. Okay, I think people who have been on the board with me know I don't attack anybody. I listen thoughtfully to their ideas. It is the case when I ran engineering groups, that's my background as well as economics. I always wanted to hear somebody object to something and give an alternative idea. Sometimes, and in engineering, the argument brings the truth out. You have to be arguing, not emotionally, but with facts. And facts in the end determine the truth. Okay? And either you're right or you're wrong, but if you have an accurate result, that's all that really matters here. Okay, and I've treated other board members that way, and I agree with some things they say when I'm on the board, and I disagree with others. I let them know I do disagree, but I have to have facts to make that disagreement.
Thank you, Barry. Forrest, how do you see your role in the Anthem Council?
We're in a very bad place with Anthem Council. They have 7 board seats, and even though we pay 52% of the assessments based on rooftops, we get assigned 1 board seat. So we have 1/7 of the power and 52% of the responsibility. And occasionally there is an open seat, and somebody from Sun City Anthem is appointed to that. So the best we can ever do is 2 out of 7. And it's been a difficult problem. They've had some pretty poor budgeting and planning, and it's just never worked out very well. And it doesn't give us a position where we can do much about it.
Thank you, Forrest. Now we're going to be entering our round 4, which is the rebuttal question. During this round, each candidate is allowed to answer a question not presented to them, to which they would provide an answer. Each candidate will have 60 seconds for their rebuttal. Brian, we're going to start with you. Is there a rebuttal question you would like to answer?
No, I'm pretty satisfied with what people have said so far.
Very well.
Right.
Thank you. Barry, do you have anything? You have 60 seconds.
Yeah, I got a couple corrections, I think, of things that people said. Not this board, but the last board did again look at the gambling question. Found out after talking to the city that we actually could do it using a third party that ran the gambling machines, which is typically how all small organizations do it. Had them come in and look at our facility and tell us that the bar was simply too small and they couldn't make enough money doing it, and that killed it right there. We weren't planning to do it or not, but we were planning to see if we could do it or not. All right. As part of my plan here, is to take another look at the way the restaurant is laid out and try to come up with a longer bar and fill in the hole.
Right.
So that's that. Second one was Nona. The Spirit is online, and the app is due to be released soon. So
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Barry. Forrest,
I have also 2 comments. First, on Spirit Magazine. Spirit is actually a profitable enterprise. We make more money on it than it costs to produce. Also, Spirit fulfills a legal requirement that we have to send out notices to every address on certain things like budgets and the rule changes and that. And we use the Spirit Magazine to do that, so that it shouldn't be considered to be removed. There was a comment on financial statements. I don't think I quite heard it, but my background is finance, and my motto is finance is marketing. You got to sell the numbers. People have to understand it. It has to be explained and not confusing. If you're just going to drop a bundle of numbers on them, you're not doing them or yourself any good.
thank you, Forrest. Nona,
There was a question about confidentiality and so forth, and it was mentioned that sometimes the board spends more time in executive session than in open meetings. And that's been a serious problem because the board is restricted from being in executive session except on very narrow and statutorily defined reasons. And this has been completely disregarded by our former attorneys and has led to a lot of problems. And so that needs to be corrected. There should be no secret meetings. There should be no decisions made in closed session that are not legally required. And they have to, actions that are taken need to be documented in an agenda and made in an open meeting.
Thank you, Nona. We're going to be entering round 5, the closing statements. Each candidate has 60 seconds. We're going to start with Forrest. With your closing statement, you have 60 seconds.
This is the closing statement.
Yes, yes.
Well, I got a good one here. It's very short. SCA is a $100 million corporation. Sun City Anthem must operate not just as a neighborhood, but as a large capital intensive enterprise competing in the 55 plus market with strategy, data, and discipline.
Thank you. Thank you, Forrest. Nona.
Okay, in these hours, you've heard a lot of promises, and here's one that you can hold me to. This election is about who controls Sun City Anthem, the owners or the staff. I've spent a decade documenting governance failures here, and mostly have been from the ill advice that we've received from alleged experts. I've documented this, and I am not guessing about what needs to be done. I know. And here's my personal commitment. If I prevail in my litigation, I will gift $1 million of the expected proceeds to Sun City Anthem, whether or not I'm elected. That money would fund a searchable records database and technology modernization plan and independent review of past governance failures. I'm uniquely qualified to deliver on this. I chaired the executive.
Sorry, Nona. Thank you. Brian, your closing statement.
Well, I think I spoke about what I wanted for the board. I want to keep the assessment down. I'd like to see some of the plants get planted. We have about, all those empty plants that have to be planted and watered. And confidentially of the special assessment, special executive committee, it's confidential. I've never known anything to leak out of that. And but we still have liability, if insurance. But as far as I know, I've never known of anything to leak out of an executive session. That's my summary.
Thank you, Brian. Barry, your closing statement.
If elected, I will work hard. I've always done that. I will listen thoughtfully and do all my very best to help you when you ask. I will use common sense and data to make decisions. I will follow the governing rules, but will fight to change and simplify those that don't make sense. Above all, I will push SCA into the future to keep it an exceptional HOA with ever escalating home values and resident enjoyment, and with a constant eye on the cost of living, read that as dues, in this great lifestyle. Remember, I get things done. I have accomplishments to demonstrate that. It's up to you who you want to fight for you. Thank you for listening. I'm Barry Rubinson, number 7 on the ballot.
Barry, thank you. I'd like to thank all the candidates for participating in the forum. I also like to thank the members of the audience for taking the time to listen to the candidates. In a few moments, we will have the meet and greet where the residents have an opportunity to talk with the candidates. Before we break, would you please give a round of applause to show your appreciation to the candidates who are volunteering their time and energy to keep Sun City Anthem a great place. Please stay seated for a couple of minutes so the candidates can get to their table at the Moore Nelson Room right down the hall. Candidates and representatives, please leave the stage through the back door exit and you make your way to your tables. If you haven't heard any questions asked today, please be sure to ask the candidates at the meet and greet. While the candidates make their way to the Morris Nelson Room, I'd like to give you a timeline on the election process. On March 21st, the ballot packets will be sent to all owners either by USPS or electronic voting. By April 29th, voting ends at 4 p.m. May 1st, ballots will be opened and counted by the election committee. This is an official membership meeting. You are permitted to attend, but the candidate boards and board members and residents will not be permitted in the roped-off area where ballots are counted. The winning candidates will be announced. When you vote, please read the voting instructions. Other than marking the bubble on the for the candidates, please do not write anything on the ballot. If you write on the ballot, it could be confusing and could make the ballot invalid. Electronic voting is very easy and saves association money. We encourage you to vote electronically. The deadline to sign up is March 6th. Even if you signed up electronic voting last year, you need to sign up again this year. We are providing a table at the meet and greet to help you sign up. Thank you all for attending this year's forum. We may now proceed to the Morris Nelson Room for the meet and greet. Have a great day, everyone.